Liz J Hill 716 on Instagram. Always got to get the name first. This is TGD's AMA. Sean from The Good Dog, as you know. Anyways, Liz wants to know, how do you advocate for your dog? It's a really good question. How do you advocate for your dog at the vet when the whole point, the whole goal of advocating for a nervous, insecure, fearful dog is to ensure that no one pressures your dog, overwhelms your dog, does things that causes your dog to not trust people and not trust you, and so on and so forth. That's why it's a really good question. Problem is that dogs need to go to vets, and we can't always take them there in perfect mental shape, right? It's just not a possibility unless you're going to sedate them and bring them in, get everything done and take them out and they don't even know anything happened. But that's not a real practical option for most people. So here's my best suggestion. And oftentimes when it comes to dog training, it comes down to best suggestions or best options or least best, or I should say least worst is what I actually meant to say. So here's the deal. Muzzle condition your dog, for one. That way you can keep everybody safe. That way your dog can wear a muzzle if he's uncomfortable or she's uncomfortable around people, and your dog is going to be in a better space mentally straight out of the gate because they're familiar with wearing the muzzle. So it's not some novel thing that's just put on at the vet's office and elevates the stress. 2, don't let anybody come in and do a bunch of monkey business, baby talk, and googly stuff with your dog. Any of that stuff is going to freak out, overwhelm your dog. You hold your dog's leash, you control your dog. Now, I know there's different dynamics and different aspects of this, but let's just take it a piece at a time. You hold the leash, you set the boundaries for people. Please no baby talk. Please don't get in my dog's face and try and become friends with my dog. It'll make him even more nervous, right? So you can still advocate even in a context that's challenging. So you're holding the leash, you're controlling the situation, but you've also created a foundation of solid, rock solid, hopefully, dog training and relationship between you and your dog, to where your dog listens to you and the training more so than your dog listens to their insecurity, nervousness, fear, panic, desire to just get the F out of there, right? So, and I know plenty of owners, clients of ours, and people on social media that interact with me that are in this same boat, that have challenging dogs, that have to go to the vet, and they've fought this battle and they're doing exactly what I'm sharing here. So it's the best version of a least optimal situation. And so I'm super proud of all of these people that I'm kind of pulling reference points from to share with you here. And like I said, muzzle condition, number 1, everybody's safe. Dog's not more elevated in stress levels. High levels of training, that mean not just your dog knows recall or go to place, but your dog walks like a freaking champ and listens to you 100%. Your dog stops at thresholds with you when you stop. Your dog absolutely can hold place no matter what goes down. Your dog recalls to you on a dime. Your dog and you have an immaculate relationship, as close as possible, an immaculate relationship of respect, listening to you, and accountability for any mistakes, to where your dog actually prioritizes listening to the training and you rather than what's going on around them that might be concerning them. This is critical. If you don't have that piece, the other stuff's not going to really matter. So from there, you move forward. You make sure that everybody that's interacting with your dog is not adding to it and making it any worse with baby talk or goofy stuff or let's be good buddies and it's in the vet and the vet tech world, they mean well, but the problem is that it freaks most dogs out. So you advocate, right? So we got our muzzles on, our training's rocking, your dog's sitting or laying down, listening to you. Your dog knows better than to misbehave because it's going to be corrected. So your dog's doing its very best work. You've also told everybody, mind your manners, do your best work, talking to the staff there. And then you're going to actually hold your dog. If your dog's going to get a shot in the rear, you're going to hold your dog. You're going to actually restrain your dog if possible. You're going to be as much a part of the process as possible. Now, it may not be perfect. It may be messy. It may be ugly. Your dog may flip and freak and not be in a great space. But sometimes we don't have a choice to make it perfect. We just have the option to make it as good as possible. And a lot of people find that over time, as they go through this process and they continue the training, the relationship building, and they continue to prove to their dog that like, this is non-negotiable, this is how it's gonna go down, this is what my expectations are of you, the dog gets better and better and better, especially if the staff works with you and is on your team. So now you get into the situation where your dog has to go in the back room, where your dog has to go have something done where you're not there. So once again, let the staff know, my dog's really nervous, my dog's insecure, my dog's this and that. Don't like play the victim card, just be really like straightforward with them and let them know, if you're gonna take my dog in the back, just do it in a matter-of-fact fashion. And you don't have to be nasty to the staff, just let them know. If you want the most success and you want the least amount of friction, you want the least amount of pushback from my dog, and you don't wanna have a shit show, then please just be matter-of-fact. Here's what works, here's what doesn't work. Hold them down like this. This is what he's used to. This is what she's used to, so on and so forth. This part is going to be the least best part because you don't have as much control over it. But like I said, going to the vet is like, well, a lot of people going to the hospital are not in a great space. And so like, how do you advocate for people at the hospital when they have to deal with things they don't like? It's just not always going to be perfect. Sometimes we're gonna have to endure things that we don't like. Can we make it as good as we possibly can for our dogs? Yes. So everything that I just shared is how you make it as good as possible in an imperfect situation. So if you don't do the muzzle conditioning, you don't do the training, you don't do the relationship building, you don't hold your dog accountable for their best, it's gonna be a disaster. If you do all the things that I suggest, it could be 20% better, 30% better, 40% better, 50, 60, 70. Who knows what your ceiling could be on that? But I've seen a lot of people get to some pretty amazing levels of their dog being able to cope with that situation because they've done all the work that I just shared. So I hope that helps. I wish I had a magic bullet. Beyond sedating your dog to where they don't even realize that they're there really is no magic bullet. The magic bullet is always the same. It's preparation, it's effort well beyond or well before the actual act, and it's making sure that you advocate for your dog as best as you can. And then you do the best you can with what you've got. And that's about the best I can offer you. I wish I had something like spectacular that would turn it all around, but it's just not the case. Some dogs are gonna be easier than others. Some dogs are gonna be a true challenge to make a vet visit something that's not explosive and doesn't clear the place out. So if you've got one of those dogs, and you know who I'm talking to because there's a lot of you who follow me who do have those dogs, and you've already made huge amounts of progress because I've seen you share it with me and share it with other people. So if you've got those dogs, you keep up the great work. If you've got one of those dogs and you're just starting out, you've got a long ways to go. It just is what it is. But if you're trying to come to grips with like, well, how do I, Sean's saying I've got to advocate, but at the vet, I can't advocate. It's an imperfect world. So we advocate where we can. We do everything that we can. And the things that we can't control, we have to just roll with them and do the best we can with them. Imperfect, but that's the best we got. Hope that helps. Talk to you guys soon. Take care. See you. Bye.